Hi you guys, how's it going? Um, we are going to do tonight a video about the raw family tree of a Cyclebreaker. So before we get started, there's a few disclaimers. For sure there is a trigger warning, possibly depending on where your family tree lies in with mine. So just keep that in mind. This is the second time I'm actually doing this video. The first time that I did it, it was a bit too much. I was feeling energy. It was very flighty is what I'm trying to say. The more that I was going into the video lesson, the more that I was picking up on negative energies, the more that I was feeling. I started to download information that I didn't really want to. I didn't feel comfortable doing. But, you know, who am I to argue about what comes in my head? And I started downloading information that's in the now about my family. And there was just some really weird activity. There was some weird activity going on in my kitchen while that was going on. And I was here present with my whiteboard. So tonight I'm actually going to light this incense. And we're just gonna, you know, make sure that we keep our positive energies here at 211. Positive energies here together while we do this. So, Yehovah Elohim, please protect us from any negative energies that we may be harboring, that we may be bringing in through our avenues in this video, and to not let us keep them as we revisit these suitcases of burdens. Okay, thank you, Yehovah. The last time I did this video was at night. It's at night now. No one's asleep then. No one's asleep now. So let's hopefully that it just, you know, stays the way that it should positively. So what I want to show tonight is what it takes to be a Cyclebreaker. And not necessarily just, oh, I'm walking away from the toxicity of my family. It's more about why you should. It's not the fact that you could. It's not the fact that you're not strong enough. It's not the fact that you're in denial. It's just the fact that you don't know any better yet because of what you've been taught. And that is the whole objective of Wounds into Light. So through my experience in becoming a Cyclebreaker myself, I feel like it's the job duty of the Cyclebreaker to break cycles, you know, to break vicious cycles of a family's generational line. And a lot of those times they are curses spiritually. We'll get further into that later, but it's just essentially how it is. It's this curse that just continues to go on and on and on and on and on without anyone in that generational line trying to break it, trying to keep pure-hearted, pure intentions, keep the divine. And a lot of the times when Cyclebreakers feel this way, they're not strong enough to leave the manipulation. They're not strong enough to understand what they could amount to. And a lot of the times when they're Cyclebreakers are understanding like, hey, I'm not comfortable here. This is not where I belong. This is not who I am as a person. They're not even aware that they are a Cyclebreaker. They're not even aware that they should continue out the job duty that they've been called to do. They're not aware that they're the only one in their family that has been chosen to do so. Like, that's what I'm starting to pick up. That's what I'm starting to download right now. So not everyone in their family is chosen to be a Cyclebreaker. I can follow through. I'm hearing follow through. Follow through with cycle breaking because of inner and outer strength, and it takes a lot. And ego death is not fun. Spiritual healing is not fun. It is painful, But the spiritual consequences are so much greater, and how I feel every day versus the towers that I fight versus just the habits for 32 years of my life, these habits that I've consistently done. I'm still doing them. I'm still fighting off the fact that I want to do them. I don't need to do them. I want to do them. So it's all just mental control, and mental control is just mastering the game of emotions. Emotions are huge within cycle breaking because it comes from your household, just like we talked about, Luke 12:49, not peace but division. It was father against son and son against father. Mother against daughter, daughter against mother. In-laws, so on and so forth. Those are all within your household. That's where the true warring starts. That's where the true competitions of ego start. That's where you're truly taught the behaviors mentally. And that's what follows you, because that's what you just went along with. When we are children, we are innocent and naive, and we have no idea what we are being taught. We just go along with it, right? How are we supposed to know what's normal? When I was a kid, it for sure wasn't normal, but I thought that it was normal. I loved going to friends' houses because I wasn't going to get the shit kicked out of me. I loved going to friends' houses because I felt safe. You know, it was just what was normal. It's not normal. What I went through was not normal. And if it is normal for people, then this is why we're here. So, you know, you might be sitting here and be like, okay, this kind of sounds like right up my alley. This kind of sounds like, you know, what I need to do. But what do cycle breakers actually break? Like sure, they just break cycles. They just break curses. They just break generational trauma. But what is it exactly that needs to be broken? 7-Eleven. Broken at 7-Eleven. Fight it, you guys. I'm really flighty during this one because I'm not afraid of those negative energies coming back. I'm not afraid of the weird activity that was going on in my kitchen. I'm not afraid of any of that. I just want to make sure that I can get this lesson out positively in the best way that I can, while I'm also learning myself, which is what I'm doing this whole time. So what does cycle breakers should they break? Like, okay, so where my family comes from, they're all very much self-centered. So as a cycle breaker, I have to break self-centering. Okay, well, that's just like a personal characteristic. You know, that's just like a 8-11. That's just like a personal goal. Like, I'm not going to be selfish anymore. So I'm going to start loving other people and start being giving instead of taking. So no, that's just a cycle that you want to break within yourself, which that's beautiful energy. And if you want to do that, then yay, I'm here to help you with that. But cycle breakers, there's 3 main huge things that I could think of that went through my experience that Jehovah is just screaming out to me that's what a cycle breaker is meant to do. The 3 main things are cycle breakers are breaking the cycle of self-harm. Cycle breakers are breaking the cycle of abuse. And cycle breakers are breaking the cycle of addiction. So yeah, I know. Like, Michaela, that's pretty vague. But is it really? 9/11. So much of what I'm teaching and so much of what I'm learning, vice versa, because, you know, reading the energies, it goes both ways. So much of it. Oh, shoot. I forgot what I was going to say. All right, well, I told y'all I was flighty, so I'm just going to pick up where my notes are. Oh yeah, vague. Thank you, Jehovah. Vague. It seems vague, but is it really? Because it's so much complexity. Thank you, 955. It's complex, but it's simple. It's simple, but it's complex. So it connects in my head, simple as can be, but then me having to explain it, especially when it comes to the math and the science. Oh shit. I get it, But how am I supposed to explain this? How am I going to reflect this to others? How am I going to reflect this against mine and then reflect it against theirs? Bringing up Luke 12:49 again, when the Bible states mother against daughter, father against son. To me, I'm just being told that it's not a negative word. Don't take it as a negative word. Don't take it as a negative word. Think of it as father against son and mother against daughter. It's because they're lights, they're lampstands. And so when they're facing each other, their lights are against. Their lights are reflecting against. Our energies are reflecting against one another. Whether in our household or not, they're reflecting against us. When we look in the mirror, I'm reflecting myself right now in this camera. What do I see? 11:22. Oh my gosh. Well, upon first look, I look very tired. Energy is exhausting for me. It really takes a lot out of me when I feel so much and I can never shut my mind off. My eyes look like Eartha Kitt to an extent. All the puffy and the dry. And my little heartbeat is ticking away still. I think tomorrow's the 3rd day of that, so I guess we'll see where that goes. But I'm going to break this down as simple, but as simply complex that I can make it. Because I understand that people learn differently, and I understand that they need visuals. So, before we get started, I just want to put out a little tips there, some, positive light tips that I want you to keep in mind as we go through this, because it's just all about disclaimers tonight, right? So no negative energy. I already done this video once before. I will try my hardest at my best effort to hold as much respect for my family's privacy. I will not use names. I don't want to go into the situations too much, but if I do, it's because Jehovah wants me to, and I'm here to teach, and I'm here to love, and he shall use me as he wants to use me. If you know me personally, and you know these people, then they damn well should have behaved better, huh? Yep. So, not my fault when you don't want the world to know your reflection. You shouldn't treat people like that behind closed doors. So, self-harming, abuse, addiction. They seem like 3 separate things, but each person can hold one. Each person can cause one. Each person can hold all 3, all 2. Doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, yada, yada, yada. However, self-harm. Okay, Jehovah wants me to spin it this way. We are so easy to point fingers and place blame. But when it comes to self-harm, it's very hard for us to accept the fact that we did that to ourselves. Because as we are self-harming ourselves, we are also the abuser. We are the abuser to ourselves. And we're so focused on this person did this to me. My own loved one, my own authority figure that I never thought I couldn't trust. The person that I'm supposed to run to. Caused me to act that way towards myself. Therefore, I am my own abuser as well. I'm causing that abuse because that's what I absorbed. I am addicted somehow, or I have addiction issues, whether I am not the person addicted, which is 10 out of 10 and complete bullshit, because someone's always addicted to something, and you can't tell me that's not true. I'll tell you why in a minute. Because I'm able to face personal accountability and judge myself, unlike you. So shut your trap until you hear me out. Jehovah. Jehovah, why you get so snappy? Evil, I know. Wickedness and evil, I know that you hate it. But I'm here to love them on the other side of this. Okay? More positive light tips. We can cause self-harm unintentionally. Self-harm is also abuse. Abuse is considered negative in any chariot. So now when I say chariot, what do you think about chariot? It's the way that the energy is traveling. It's the travel, it's the motion, it's the avenue. It's getting onto the I-5 and beeping at this one. No matter the chariot, no matter if it's eyes, ears, mouth, whichever. Abuse is verbal, mental, which comes down to spiritual, physical, emotional, sexual, financial. It doesn't matter. Any way that someone can control someone else, including themselves. Addiction can affect a person even if it's not them, even if they are not the addict of that substance. That is a whole separate spectrum, and they can be addicted to something else, but that is a separate spectrum as well. In this one spectrum, this substance has affected this one person how? Maybe not through them directly, but through their loved one. Yeah, because now they're reflecting against that person and absorbing. Addiction is not just a substance. It can also be emotions and people as well, which is where it all comes back to shutting your trap, because I have never once picked up a cigarette, any hard drug. Sure, I utilize marijuana medicinally. I can go a day without smoking, and if I don't have it, I don't need it. I don't, it's not something that I just gung-ho for, and that's what I need to do every single day. So I grew up in and out of AA meetings from all my parents, and it was the best thing that my parents could have ever done, so thank you. Because the last thing that I wanted to do as a kid was grow up as an adult in meetings, because I had seen the damage. And then not only while I'm there for my parents, I'm seeing everybody else who's there anonymously, and I'm just like, hell no. And me drinking, I tried to drink, I tried to have fun, I tried to party, because I didn't want to feel this way inside, and my whole family had turned to it. My whole family had turned to some kind of addictive substance, but I just couldn't do it. I still can't do it to this day, and I can't even tell you the last time I had a drink. I am just not interested. It is a turnoff for me. I'm probably one of those people that would get my ass arrested just trying to find where to find a hard drug. Like, I have no damn idea, and I'm not interested in it because it just doesn't light me up. It's not something that I want to do. I rather heal and project than to just indirectly self-harm myself. So, moving on. Yeah, once again, I'm respecting the privacy as much as I can. So let's get started. So I'm going to, y'all know what a typical family tree looks like, right? Well, I'm gonna do things a little differently. So I am gonna put me down here. I have my dad up here, my mom, my first stepdad, these are my two main parents when I was born. In the house I grew up in until I was 13 or 14, and we ended up leaving and separating from my siblings. All of that. This is where my issues truly stem from. So they went on to have my sister, I'm gonna say sister one. They also went down to have my brother. Nowadays, I have my brother-in-law, which in that first video that I recorded the other night, that's where my download started. My energy instantly flipped. I felt it in my stomach. I kept seeing like circles with like no smoking sign, right? Like a circle, a red circle with a red stripe through it, like right here. So I don't even know what's going on with them. I don't talk to anyone. It's not reciprocated. It doesn't matter. I'm completely cut off. But the fact that I'm getting downloaded information about this and downloaded information about that later, it just goes to show me once again that these last 2 weeks, I'm really leveling up, because now I'm really starting to get insight on what my family had to deal with before and what my family's dealing right now in the present energy moment. Even though I'm not included, I know nothing, but I know a lot. And it's just, you know, I called it out in the video. I said, I don't know if I should be getting this. I'm getting information I don't want to get. I'm getting information I don't want to get. So, you know, maybe I'll share bits and pieces of that video. It's just really, it's a lot. So we'll see. I'll think on that. We'll see what Jehovah wants me to do. They have one daughter, which is my niece, and then one son, which is my nephew. So once this shit show ended, my mom moved on right away to a rebound that karma pretty much just slapped her right in the face with. And that was just a whole other shit show to begin with. So now, you know, now that this household was over, we separated here, not only do I have now 12, 13 years of child abuse, but now I'm being separated and I'm thrown into this situation, this household, when I'm 15 to 16 years old. I'm just going to say 0 to, oh, no, I don't want to say 16 because that definitely wasn't 16. Let's do, I want to say 14. Maybe late 14, early 15, maybe late 13, early 14, somewhere around there. I don't quite know. I don't remember because I was so traumatized. So this lasted, I don't know how long, 10 years or so, but my mother had moved back to Spokane while I stayed over here in Seattle, and so that separated really quick for me. But in the meantime, when I was involved in this, going through high school and all of this, it was like a whole just shock because I wasn't getting the abuse anymore. My mother was. He was a drug addict. He gave her bad influences. They met in a bar. You know, after my mom had already lost custody of my sister and my brother, I had no idea why. She wouldn't fucking tell me, yet you're meeting this douchebag in a bar. What a great example, right? So now it was just like this whole whatever, because I couldn't flip the script in my head at that time that this wasn't okay, and it definitely wasn't okay leaving this to go to this. Also, you guys are probably wondering where my dad was the whole time. I only had a relationship with him very early in my life, and then there was a huge separation because, you know, maybe the issues from here caused it. A lot of control from my mother came into play. I couldn't even call my dad anymore. I had to call my stepdad dad and call my biological father his name. You know, and that's another thing too I want to tell you guys. When you go through ego death and you get rid of all of these burdens and these shadows, you get to make room for so much more, and all of these true, authentic memories come in, and you denied them your whole entire time. Like, no, that's not the truth, that's not the truth, that's not the truth, when really, you're not even seeing the control, and that's the whole point of the devil and this all energy that in their spirits that they're harboring. That's the whole point of it. So, 16, my last sister was born, my second sister, 16 years apart. My brother is still attached, or not attached, as far as I know. You know, not attached like my sister. My little sister is not attached either. My mom is now attached to my present stepdad. Yep. All right. So now I'm going to do this. I'm going to kind of just go this way for a minute. So since we're talking about family tree, right? This is going to be my paternal past line, and this will be my maternal past. So each of those paths, building the generation within my dad, within my mom. My next little tree that I'm gonna make is, this is gonna be my twin flame. Twin flame. We're gonna make one for Jason. And then yeah. Okay. The only other thing I want to add is this right here. So I'm going to put triangles. So this triangle stands, for Cyclebreaker. So now, there's me, right? I come from my mom and my dad. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to say anything about my dad's past. I love the story. I kind of love where I come from, even though we don't really know a lot. But because my dad is a Cyclebreaker, there's nothing else to talk about, because he did the work. He did the work. He did the work to be able to be mentor towards me and give me the love unconditionally and the respect. So I'm not going to say anything about it. My dad broke that cycle, therefore he was able to teach me how to break this cycle. Jason has found God doing his own work. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. I'm going to try very hard not to say anything bad about this either, because that's not who I am and that's not who I want to reflect. But when we talk about bad things, it's just the truth. It's just the damn truth. So you don't want to have a negative truth, then don't accept it. Don't accept that that's what's going on for you, but then you're never going to get anywhere. You're already so limiting yourself, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through and we are going to talk about each building block of this and what abuse they have endured or caused. So let's see. We need a blue pen, and what's a good color for that one? I guess we will just do. No, I have so many pens here, and it just makes it harder for me to even pick one, right? I guess we'll just do purple. How's that sound? Okay. So we'll start off with purple, and I think the biggest one is self-harm. Sure, we think that abuse in general is huge, and it needs to be huge in its own way. Addiction as well, but self-harm is the number one issue. In all of us, we are the only ones that can control our behavior. No one else is going to control our self-harm. We have to. It doesn't matter if you project that abuse out or not. It doesn't matter if you project that pain and fear and those feelings and those burdens and those shadows into addiction or not. It all based off of self-harm for me, and that's why self-harm is so huge. So my dad has self-harm at points in his life. Whether it's negative thoughts about himself, myself, whether we have negative thoughts about ourselves, whether we choose to invest into a substance. We have self-harmed ourselves by treating others wrongfully, right? There's all these different ways that we can self-harm: eating wrong, drinking wrong, anxiety, depression, all this low serotonin, right? So my dad has caused self-harm to himself. My mother, absolutely. My maternal past, I'm going to say absolutely. My mother's mom, I walked away from her when I was 18 years old. I realized the game that she was playing then, but I was too far gone to see that I was still in that same issue with my own mother. My mom's 1 out of 8. Half of them aren't rock stars. One of them murdered somebody. I'm proud that's where I come from, so I can be the cycle breaker. there's people in my family that will understand this part of me more than anything, because they know me as this person. They know me as this person to not take shit. And they know me as this person to stick up for myself. And I don't care who you are. I do not care who you are, especially now at this point. My first stepdad absolutely caused self-harm to himself. That rebound, oh yeah, because he's an addict, right? I mean, both of them were. My present, yeah, you know, my present stepdad, he's amazing. I love him. He was there for me when I couldn't even be there for myself or my daughter. 3111. There's a lot that I could say, but I'm not going to. So I'm just going to blankly put out what is what, and it's just the truth. So self-harm there. I have definitely caused self-harm on myself. In fact, I loved it. I loved the self-harm for myself, and that's exactly why I was an addict to emotions. I was an addict to people who I thought loved me. You don't need a substance. You just need to you need to hate yourself that much. My first sister absolutely causes self-harm. She hates herself, I guess. I didn't mean to say that, but I guess she does. She hates herself. Huge addict as well. Therefore, my brother-in-law also causes self-harm because my sister reflects onto him, and I know that that's an issue. Now, what do you think is going to happen with my niece and nephew? I mean, at this point, they're both less than 2.5, 2.5, 3. So due to age, right now, we don't know about any of this. But what do you think is going to happen? When his family, I don't even really know. But if he's got it and she's got it, they're double fucked, right? My niece and nephew are double fucked because you guys cannot fucking accept, grow up, and deal with your shit. But you know what? My own mom couldn't either. And neither could her dad. So, you know, more power to her to do it on her own, but she's never going to. So I'm going to say that my niece and nephew will definitely suffer from self-harm. My brother, yep. My little sister, absolutely. Now my little sister, she's 16 now. So her age comes into a factor with addiction as well. But just think in the future, like I said, they have all of this going for them. She doesn't come from a diamond past either. But she is a diamond, and she will be able to factor it out on her own and master the game hopefully one day. My first sister and I don't have a relationship. I'm done. I couldn't do it anymore. Her and my mother are one and the same. They share the same freaking evil spirit, and I'm over it. I'm done with getting ganged up on just because I'm trying to express myself. My brother and sister, they're pretty much MIA, but that makes sense because, you know, when you live in her house and when you are reflecting her too, I mean, look at all this ganging up on me that I've always had to deal with. So now, of course, what's easier? Stick up for what's right and stick up for your sister and try to bring the family together? Or just suffer to the evil queen? My twin flame absolutely self-harms himself. Jason has done it in the past. And there we go. So, already right now, I'm going to tell you, my dad has caused self-harm to himself, so automatically I've known how to do it. My mother, absolutely. Her past to me, absolutely. Yep. 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 Okay. So, family tree of self-harming energy. Now, I didn't include my niece and nephew because I'm not even, you know, there's no point to. Jason and I do not have one because Jason and I are very communicative. We're not a perfect couple. We do have situations, but he is not my enemy. He has no hidden motives. He does everything out of love, even when I'm the one that's being a pain in the ass. So, my twin flame, you know, he suffers so much inside that any woman's energy will fill him up. Therefore, the emotions that he loves to fill him up and fill his tank, he's addicted to them, along with other things that he's addicted to. But therefore, isn't that neat? Because twin flame is one soul and two bodies. So how he treats himself is also how I was going to treat myself, which is exactly what I did. I wasn't addicted to alcohol, but I was addicted to him. Big time. I was addicted to the love that he fed me because I didn't really get any. I was addicted to the spiritual contract, which I believe is still there. Absolutely. It's 100% still there. But now that I've able to, you know, think of it this way. One body, two souls. So now, as I look at the divine feminine and versus the divine masculine energy, his is all burdened as hell, as I have so much room for mine. So all I have to do is just try very hard to focus on my divine feminine energy and to block out the negative part of me, even though it's always there. As of July 28th, it's been easier. It's been way easier. It's just, okay, yep, that's a part of me, but I don't want anything to do with it. And yep, that's going to be on the back burner, and it's just going to come up here and there. I got to turn the heat down a little bit. It's always going to be there. It's just how I have the mental control based over it compared to the last 4 to 5 years that spiritually murdered me along with my family. So, speaking of murder, we're going to go to abuse. I'm going to put an A on my dad. Because my dad has suffered abuse in his life. My mom has also suffered abuse in her life because of the golden choices my grandmother made. My biological grandfather was great. My last stepdad that I had was great. But there's a stepdad that my mom had at one point when she was a kid that abused her and the rest of the family. And I was downloading information about this when I first did this video. I was downloading the information that I didn't want to know. I was seeing scenes in my head that I didn't want to know. I was catching on to things that, okay, this makes sense as to why there's so much damage, there's so much abuse, and there's so much narcissism in my family, but I don't want to know how it got there. I don't want to know about any of the physical abuse. I don't want to know any about the sexual abuse that my mother's family had to endure somehow. I don't want to know about any of that, but I do not have a choice because Jehovah says, ooh, you are going to know about this and you are going to know about the truth now. I don't like my energy that night, and I don't like how it felt, and that's why I didn't do that video, and that's why I'm doing this one. But I'm starting to get more of these gifts, guys, and I'm just documenting them. That way you guys see. I'm finding out so much just because I'm so in tune with my divination. Oh, absolutely. Abused himself, abused my mom, maybe not physically, but you know, I'm sure he didn't treat her well either. Abused his kids. He had such a bad anger problem. He's still an alcoholic to this day. You know, it's just, you know, I'm not involved at all, but because I've been involved in my family's life, therefore I cared about their dad. You know, I still find myself investing where I shouldn't be investing because I was investing where I shouldn't have been investing. My sister, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know about his past life and I don't want to speak for him, but the fact that he's pretty much married to my sister, that's abusive right there. Yeah, they're going to deal with it. My brother, yep, because that's his dad. This is, oh yeah, he abused the shit out of my mom. His family isn't all rock stars either. So my sister now has suffered from the abuse in between there. My twin flame absolutely causes it to himself as well. No. Me, absolutely. No. Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, not from my present stepdad. From my sister, oh, yeah. From my brother, no. From my sister, no. My sister and I have had some issues, but it's because of these two witches up here. My brother and I have had this mutual respect since we were little. We just have this special connection. We've been caught in situations, but we kind of just baby each other. And so no, there's never been abuse towards me other than just typical little sibling fights as kids, you know. From my brother-in-law, nope. From my niece and nephew, nope. Absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you guys this right now too, just because I'm drawing a line, no matter the self-harm, abuse, or addiction, from them to me, this also goes both ways. Okay, it's gonna go both ways. And if you can't accept that, then you're not ready for this and get the hell off of my channel. You have to take personal accountability when you are going through ego death, when you are deciding if you're going to follow through with your job duty of being a cycle breaker or not. So just, these are definitely, you know, both ways. I mean, towards my first stepdad, I wished so much harm on him when I was younger. I hated that man for how much suffering he made me put through. And I just blow it away because you're going to suffer in hell on your own. Yeah. So now let's move on. We're going to do blue for addiction. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely, because 1 out of 8, they're not all not sober. Absolutely. My brother, because of his dad was an addict, his sister's an addict, his mom's an addict. He does drink, but I wouldn't consider him an addict. He's a responsible drinker. However, I don't know who he is these days, but I've never been worried about my brother. My brother's been a smart drinker, so he understands. My sister, she's not old enough, so this is where the age comes into a factor. Age, but they're going to definitely be affected because my sister and my brother-in-law, they already caused self-harm, then they cause abuse, and then now they've caused addiction. You know? Absolutely, that's part of the problem. You know, honey, I don't know if you've ever been affected by addiction or not. I mean, I'm sure that God's telling me, yeah. God's telling me, yeah, babe. But I know where you come from. So, this definitely caused addiction problems within me because I had to constantly go back to where I was getting it from, right? My little sister, my brother, my other sister at times because I tried so hard. This will come down towards me. This will come down towards me. My sister's addiction comes towards me. My twin flames comes towards me. My mom's comes towards me. All right. So, now that you guys are really taking a look at all of this, and the energy traffic, what exactly each person is harboring coming to their shadows and their burdens. I mean, if you take a look at your abuser and you can cross off one of these 3, you can probably cross off the other 2. It's always going to be 3 of each, 3 spectrums for each person harboring this. There's no one person that will not suffer from one of these. This is why mastering the game is so important. This is why sticking up for yourself and your authentic self, your divination, this is why it is so important, because how heavy do you think I felt? Look at all of this coming to me. Okay, so now hang on a second. Let's also do this really quick because I'm being told. We're gonna do this little teal color. So now, this is all negative energy. So let's spin it. Let's put the positive energy on there, you know. So I've had positive energy from my twin flame, from Jason, from my sister, from my brother, from my brother-in-law, my niece and nephew, my sister at points, my present stepdad always. That douchebag some points, like not really, but I just tried to for my mom. My stepdad, my first stepdad, like I don't even want to give you the time of day anymore. My maternal yeah, because I do have family in there that I genuinely love and care for. I mean, I love and care for all of them, but ones that understand me. My mom, yes, you know, I'd suck her dick if I could, pretty much. I wanted to impress her so much. I wanted her to accept me so much that no matter how she treated me back, I still was trying to put positive energy into her. I was trying to just get her to be willing to admit that I was good enough for her. I didn't want to just be this little human form of regret anymore. Positivity with me and my dad. So now that you're seeing the positive on top of the negative, it looks like it's just as much. However, when you're looking at all of this positivity, it's only covering the negativity. Negativity. It's only covering it. It's just the little whipped cream and cherry on top of the whole fucking mudslide pile. It's just the mask. It's just the mask. And when you take the mask off, look at how many shadows I'm actually burdening. Look at how many self-harm avenues that I have because I've been taught that and others in my family have been taught. Look at all of the abuse that each of us have endured. Look at all of the avenues that will all be affected by addiction. Whether we're the ones addicting the person or being addicted to the person, to the love, to the feelings, to the sex, you know, whatever it is. We're the ones that are being addicted to the feelings of absorbing of others because we're the empaths. We're addicted to the narcs. When they're addicted to substances, they're addicted to the self-harm. They are addicted to themselves. So, now that you see this in my life, those of you that were happy for me and loved me when I was truly mentally ill, when I was mentally sick, before I grew up and accepted, before I did anything, you guys are happy for me and loved me then. And now that I've done this and all you guys have abandoned me in whichever way else because you can't take personal accountability, let me ask you a question. If you truly care at 4911, if you truly care and harbored unconditional love for me in my family, how does this make you feel? If you are truly harboring unconditional love for your family in your household, and this is you, how does this make you feel? Now, looking at all of this, where does that leave Nova? Why wouldn't I be a cycle breaker for her? I don't want her to take on all of this shit. I don't want her to sit here and be like, Mom, I self-harmed myself because you did. Mom, I abused myself because you did. Mom, I have been affected by addiction, or I am an addict because you were. What do you think I would say? Oh, I'm so sorry, honey. I was taught, so it's okay. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, how do you think I want to reflect to my daughter? How do you think I want my daughter to be able to reflect? Because think of how heavy this is. I mean, this energy is constantly going, even if we're not talking, even if we're separated, it's just constantly moving. And even if there's positive and negative, there's still no balance here, right? There's no balance. And so what I taught you guys is if there's not a balance, it won't resonate. There's no connection. It can't resonate at all if there's no balance. Look at how sick I made myself. Look. And all I've done is just accepted that I didn't want to come from this anymore. All I did was say I was done. That I deserve better. I deserve love. I deserve the truth of my story to be told. I deserve to be able to get all of this out so I can heal. And I can hold all of this space for grace. I accepted. Now I'm choosing to love myself and the connections that I will have to have, that I do have. And now I'm recovering. Any addict is expected to have a time period of recovery, whether it's heroin, whether it's alcohol, whether it's people, whether it's mental illness. We always need a recovery period. Okay, so now look at this. I'm choosing to reflect my dad. He's a cycle breaker. We're able to be there for each other. That's positive energy. I'm reflecting my twin flame no matter what, no matter even if I want to or not. It's not a choice for me, and that has been made very clear to me. And if you're a twin flame, you know what I'm talking about. You do not have a choice in this. So as much as I want to erase all of this away, there's no way that I can't. There's no way that I can. And that is why I'm only focusing on the divine feminine, because the divine masculine is lost on his own. Jason, my partner Nell, my absolute just 100% match made from heaven. I couldn't ask for anything better. Of course I'm going to keep that. Of course I'm going to work towards this. I'm going to invest myself in this every single day, which he also does back, and he does towards Nova. Oh, sorry. I don't want to do the self-hum color, but you know, you want to put your energy in where it's going to be positively reflecting you back. Okay? I also have, best friends over here. I'm just gonna add them in there. This is all who I have. But look at now. Just take a look. Look at how much space you have left. Look at how much room that you have to grow when all of this heavy polarity is gone. When you have all of this just, it feels so good to clean up. It feels so good to take care of the trauma and throw it away. It feels so good to TLC your chakras and put your damn self first, because look at all of that you were harboring. You guys, look right here. Okay, just look right here for me. Okay, pretend that we were just here, stuck in the whiteboard. We're just floating there like Brian and Stewie, right? We're just floating there. If you stare right here at this spot, just stare there with me for just a second. Imagine yourself there. How far does that go? How far does that go? Just this white spot right here. We're just floating in this, dimension of time that's just all white around us. It doesn't stop. It is limitless. It is always going, even if you're just stuck there in that one spot. Look how much I limited myself before I made room for more. Look at how much I killed myself with that weight that just completely just shattered my heart and broke in two, because this spiritually murdered me. The child abuse that I went through, the fact that my mom and my sister gang up on me, my twin flame, that is the hardest thing. That was the hardest thing to walk away from, because I knew I was going to lose this if I didn't. My dad, it kills me. It hurts my heart that he has suffered so much. But I absolutely look up to him, because he has taught me how to handle cycle breaking with grace and mercy. He loves to help others and heal others and be there to fill each other's cups just as much as I do. And I love being just like my dad, which my mom hated and held against me forever. You guys, if you're a cycle breaker, if you feel like you need to be a cycle breaker, what's worth it to you? All of that weight and all of those raw generational curses? Or do you want to have forever with just yourself and the positivity and no one else can fuck with you? When someone says, I'm sorry, what do we tell kids? You need to say I'm sorry, and the best way to say I'm sorry is to change your behavior. Choose acceptance. Choose love. Choose recovery. Love yourself enough to change your own behavior. Love yourself enough to say, I'm done. I'm done choosing them, and I'm ready to choose myself and the divine. I love you, and I don't want anyone to go through that. And I sure as hell don't want it to take you more than 31 years to find out. And if it did, I'm sorry, but I'm here for you. And this is the youngest that you will ever be. I love you so much. From one cycle breaker to the next. I will see you soon. Wounds into light.